Am I able to lose weight while eating at fast food joints, grocery stores, constantly eating on the go, and not being able to cook for myself for a full 30 days? So we're into week 2 of the challenge, and I have some great fast food ideas on making some healthier options on the go. You won't believe one of the places that I'm going to for some of my protein. I have awesome ideas for you to pick up from the grocery store when you're quick on the go. Plus, you'll get to see how I'm able to fit in some delicious food with family and friends and still keep to my weight loss goals. If you haven't caught the last few videos, go to my YouTube channel, go into the playlist and go to Fat Loss on the Go playlist. You'll see 3 videos for you to catch up on so that you can see how this has gone so far. But I'll give you a quick review of where I've been. I went to A&W last week, Subway, went to grocery stores to get some quick salads on the go. I used a lot of protein shakes to keep it nice and efficient and cost effective. I also went to Tim Hortons, Burger King, McDonald's, Freshie, and at the end of the week, me and Angelina even had a giant Fat Boy burger and fries, which may have thrown me off my fat loss goals, but I still went to my niece's birthday party and enjoyed the food, plus I had a cupcake. So the question is, did I lose weight last week? So let's do a weight check-in. On March 11th, I was 212.6 pounds. This means it's even up from the Sunday where I was 212.2, but I'm not gonna panic. It just means that it's more food volume and I'm quite certain I did not digest that burger and fries yet. So watch this. I'm gonna have what I know is a good deficit. I'm gonna have one of my favorite days of eating fast food and being on the go. It'll be a light day of eating. I'm gonna hit my calorie deficit just right. And by Tuesday morning, I promise you, I'm gonna let go of some of that weight. This whole day is one of my favorite routines on the go. Start with a protein shake and a protein bar. Then later on I go into A&W and I just get 4 burger patties. Go over to Subway so I can get a salad. This time I had some steak. And I finished off with my yogurt protein bowl. I would hit 2,300 calories and over 200 grams of protein, no problem. Okay, let's take a look at that weight again. Stepped in on that scale on Tuesday, March 12th at 211.2 pounds. Wow, did I just lose over a pound of body fat? No, I lost that much water weight. As I mentioned, that there's a lot of water retention with the food that you're consuming, especially when it's high carbohydrates and it doesn't fully digest. Carbs will cling to water and then you're passing that much water. So I know that the plan's working well. Even before I lost that weight, I was already on average losing a lot of weight, as I was initially around an average of 214 pounds and I went down to 211 pounds on average. So another great way to track your progress is gonna be progress photos. Here's the initial progress photo that I took on February 27th, and this is the end of my build phase. Then the next one was on March 7th, and again, you can see some progression here now. And just today on March 12th, and you can see that my body is visually making a difference. But you're gonna wanna show up for those photos each and every week so that you can gradually see that difference. Sometimes you see a subtle one, sometimes you don't see much. But mostly, you just wanna show up and do it because it's a part of the information that you're trying to collect. You can do weigh-ins, you can do photos, you can do waist measurements, and next week I'll even do another body composition assessment. And I'm gonna collect all that data and then I'll get the information I want to know that I'm on the right track. But for the most part, weight's doing a pretty good job here as I am progressing in the right direction. We're gonna go through a bunch of the highlights throughout the week rather than repeating each and every single day because some of it gets pretty repetitive. I just wanna remind you of my meal plan structure. Very similar to how you just saw me set up my Monday, I would have 4 meals a day. In each meal, I'm gonna aim for around 50 grams of protein. Typically in meal 1 and in meal 4, I try to be lighter around 400 to 450 calories. Then in meal 2 and in meal 3, because these are the meals that I'm eating out, I would be closer to 600 or 700 depending on where I went out. So just remember that's the routine that I have consistently. What we're gonna do is we're just gonna quickly go over some of the highlights so that you understand how I progress throughout the week. And I first wanna show you the summary of meal 1 and on meal 4 because they were the most repetitive and consistent meals and very easy to track. Let's take a look at how I set up my breakfast and my evening meals. So to summarize all my breakfast plans throughout the week, I would routinely have a protein shake with some oats, some greens, mixed nuts, and an apple. This is a very affordable meal because it comes in under $5 and it's very light. It's under 500 calories and over 50 grams of protein. And my evening routine was also quite similar, as I would have my yogurt packs, which were quite cheap, protein powder, then I would cut up a bunch of fruit, making sure I'd have strawberries in it so I get my vitamin C. And it's a great, sweet tasting treat to finish off my day, usually coming in around 500 calories or less and over 50 grams of protein, and quite affordably, right around $5 per meal. However, there was one morning I did something a little bit different for breakfast. I went and I tried out Tim Hortons.
A breakfast most people typically have, but showing you how I would make a healthier one. As I've been mostly just having protein shakes, I'm gonna have a protein shake, but I'm gonna make this work with the calories and some of the options that they do have that are modestly within the calories. 2 of the spinach egg white omelet bites and 2 of the cheese and bacon omelets, and a medium coffee with a side of Splenda.
The omelet bites along with the coffee came out to about $10.99, plus how much it costs for my protein shake. It comes out to around $12 for this meal.
I got the 2 different types of omelet bites that they have. The spinach, the egg white one is gonna be leaner. It's still 40% protein, which is funny because if it was egg whites, it should be just predominantly protein. And the other one's a little fattier, but it does have some nutrients. You kind of want that fat energy, and these together will get me over the 30 grams of protein, but that's still not 50. So I brought a shake for this morning. This morning I made a little shake that had around 20 to 25 grams of protein, and now I put it all together and I'm gonna have a pretty complete meal. I wanted to compare this because people were gonna eat on the road, and you know, I'm typically just having a protein shake and some other stuff, and those morning meals only cost me like $5 if I do it from just protein and some oats and some fruit. It isn't whole food, and this is better that it's whole food, but at the same time, this is a lot more expensive, and I still have to even add the cost of the protein powder partially here. But the good thing is, it's not just a protein shake and a protein bar. This does have some real substance to it, so it probably would leave me fuller longer. And I made sure to include the coffee because most people are going to Tim's because they like their coffee. So it's a more realistic purchase for a lot of people, and how you can make those purchases fit your calories a little bit better. Now I gotta try them out.
Altogether, this was a pretty low calorie meal. It came out to about 438 calories and over 50 grams of protein.
I would recommend. If I was gonna not bring a protein shake, one more pairing would have done it. So if I could have gotten 2 more of the egg white ones, it would have been a pretty good match, and that would have costed a lot more. Another $4, so it would have been $14 just to have breakfast and just eggs, but it'd be a filling meal.
Then I did a restock at the grocery store, and I have some new ideas for you to think about next time that you're going to the grocery store and you need some quick ideas on the go.
Okay, we're restocking the salad, and this time we're gonna go with the kale blend. When it comes to salad or whatever kind of micronutrients you're trying to get in, there's only a handful that are really, really effective. For example, iceberg lettuce doesn't have much in it. Romaine lettuce will have a good amount in it, but I really am a big fan of dark leafy greens. Dark leafy greens are going to be very dense in vitamin A and vitamin C. And I'm a big fan of the flavor. Now, what's even great about Superstore is they actually have the calories that you can roughly track, but I can break this salad up into, once again, at least 3 different salads, and I'm pretty good for my micronutrients for a few days. Now with that salad, poppy seed goes really well. The unfortunate thing is this is 200 calories per package. I'm only gonna get one, because there's only one salad that I'm making and I'm gonna use this. I could get the apple cider, or I could get the balsamic that's lower in calories. I could, but I'm not gonna enjoy the salad. So I'm just gonna make sure it fits my calories, and I'm gonna have something I enjoy. So I'm going with the poppy seed, and you'll see how it works in with that next salad. Now this is another staple of a fruit that I always like to have in my diet, and I wish I had last week. Grapes. Grapes are so great for getting rid of satiety. You finish off a meal, you have a handful of grapes. Some people are like really worried, oh, there's high sugar. It's like, it's really not high sugar, especially because it's a fruit. I highly recommend you put grapes into your routine. I've been missing these. I've been wanting these at the end of meals, and they're great for a top off. And similar to apples, is they're very efficient because you can just have a handful at a time. You can choose your serving size very effectively. So I'm picking up grapes this week, and you're gonna see how it can fit into a lot of my meals. You know, I gotta get my strawberries, get that vitamin C. Grabbing the apples by the bag are actually way cheaper. This thing costs less than $1 a pound, whereas these on sale are $2 a pound. And apples are so valuable to me, I'm gonna stock up. And for yourself at home, I recommend you try to get cost-effective apples by the bag. Figure it out per pound, and you're gonna know if you have a good deal. So I loved how the protein anchor worked with the chicken packs before. I'm just gonna get 2 because it's good to have on hand, and I'm gonna have some other protein ideas for you to have on hand as well. So I'm gonna go with the source yogurt again. It's super affordable, and it's on sale again than last week, and you're gonna see how it plays into my salads very soon here. The interesting thing is too, when I compared it to even getting just a bigger plain type of yogurt, those little packs are still cheaper. So I'm gonna keep going with the little packs because they're cost effective and they taste pretty darn good. So one of the challenges on this diet has been to try to get enough fiber in it. Adding flaxseed to my protein shake meals is a great way to distribute a little bit more fiber in those meals that might be a little light on it. Instead of just having a protein shake, when you put this in there, it adds a little bit more volume to it, so it does actually give you some better satiety, and it's important to have enough fiber in a day. I've been noticing I'm closer to 20 to 25 grams, and I should be closer to 40 grams in a day, and this is going to be a great little hack that I can use, and you're going to want some sort of a fiber backup to have along the way. It's really also not that expensive, as it's only $6 and you're going to get a lot of usage out of it. One of my old-fashioned routines is flavored tuna. My brother got me on this. He said he always used to have it for lunch when he was in Australia. He would have this and some crackers. I started having this rolled up on some bread, and specifically the Thai chili one is delicious. It's so good. Now, if you were to just get plain, yes, there'd be more protein and you would get fewer carbs as there is some sugar in it. But again, sometimes I prefer the sugar if it comes with a lot of protein. I'm not super worried about it, and it tastes great. Like, this flavor is dynamite. Now, it isn't that cheap per gram of protein because each of these is going to come in at 16. You're looking at $2 a pop. I need to consume at least 3 of these within a sitting. But I'm going to team it up with some other protein sources and only get a handful. Even when I'm not doing this challenge, randomly I'll go pick up a handful. In the event that I don't have any meat cooked, I need to make a salad, I want to have a quick meal. These things come in handy so well because they store for a very long time and they taste delicious. Great and delicious backup plan.
Now let's look at some of the weekly highlights of all the different places that I ate, some of the really quick meals that I made on the go that helped me fit within my calories and helped me lose weight.
You're not gonna believe where I'm going next, and I'm gonna make a healthy-ish meal out of a really solid protein source that you wouldn't expect. We are gonna head to KFC and get a bucket of chicken. Hi there, I'm just looking for a bucket of chicken.
So I went for a 10-piece bucket of chicken, which ended up being just over $33, which wasn't as affordable as I thought it was going to be, but I wanted to try it out and see if I could make this fit my calories anyways.
Perfect. Thank you. Have a great day. The hardest thing with this is the smell. I'm not going to eat this for a couple more hours because I'm buying it on the way back from seeing a client, but I'm going to have to sit with this smell. And I hate smelling something I can't eat. This is by far the hardest thing. Okay, it is lunchtime and I'm about to do something that really might upset a lot of you. You might think it's ridiculous. You might think it's disgusting. You might think it's atrocious, especially if you love KFC chicken. Fundamentally, to me, it's chicken covered in an unnecessary amount of calories. So I'm gonna take off the skin. I'm gonna take off that breading. And underneath it, there should be just a solid, skinless drumstick. Still gonna be some residue, some breading on some of them, but I'm gonna take that into consideration.
So I weighed out 3 pieces of chicken so I could figure out roughly what the average would be. I tried to take off as much of the chicken skin as I could, but there would still be some residue on there. Now I understood it was around 230 grams, so then I just simply tracked it as a chicken thigh. As chicken thigh has more fat, there would still likely be some excess calories on this chicken. And don't worry, Angelina took care of all the chicken skin and ate it later.
Now you're thinking, are we just eating meat again? Today, no, because I just stocked up on some fruit. So, grapes and strawberries. And you know strawberries, I always talk about strawberries having high vitamin C. I know people won't agree with me, especially because people are gonna say, oh, poison seed oil and all that shit. I'm gonna say this is arguably pretty healthy. For fast food fat loss, for being on the go, this isn't that bad. Teaming up some KFC with some fruit, and let's see if it helps me hit my calorie goal.
With my rough estimation, I predicted it was 529 calories and around 51 grams of protein. And typically, each piece of chicken costed around $3.35, so each meal was anywhere from just under $10 to just over $12, depending on the sides I had along with it. So it's not necessarily a more cost-effective meal, and it's not the healthiest. However, if you're ever in a situation where the only thing being served is fried chicken, maybe take off the skin and you got a decent protein option on the go. Not the best, but not the worst.
So me and Rayzor,
This is Rayzor. What's up?
we're gonna head to Kristina's on Horton.
And get some liver.
Get some liver. Good
Some
for
lamb.
it. And lamb.
Kristina's on Corydon was a wonderful Greek restaurant. I really enjoyed the vibes there, and I took a look at their menu ahead of time, so I knew I had some good choices I could make. We went with the chicken livers to warm up, and then I had a salad. Along with that, Ray had his lamb burger, and I went with the chicken souvlaki because I knew it would be a leaner option. I estimated it was around 800 calories and over 60 grams of protein, and I brought the leftovers home for Angelina. And later that day, I had more KFC and fruit. And despite all that, I likely ended up under 2,300 calories and over 220 grams of protein and still hit my weight loss goals.
So I gotta tell you a little digestion update here for me from Wednesday into Thursday. I noticed something a little bit funny. It's not crazy to think that something could be up with a KFC. I'm eating fried chicken, and it does make sense that the chicken could give me an issue. But I also went out to that Greek restaurant. They also put a lot of onions in the chicken liver. I tend to be sensitive to the onions. Don't know if I want to keep going with the KFC because I have a bit more, or if it could have just been the Greek food. And for yourself, when you have issues like this, it's important to pay attention to it. But don't jump into conclusions and thinking, oh, for sure it's a KFC. And so if you change too many things at once, you might not know what's actually causing the problem. And I could be making a bit of a risk, but there's only a handful of pieces left, so I'm gonna keep going. And we'll see if I end up regretting it before the end of the week.
Now let's take a look at how I made the Superstore salad work for me for many days.
Despite the KFC seeming like it was gonna be way harder for calories to fit in, it was actually quite easy. This salad is gonna be a way bigger challenge. Even if I just try to have 300 grams of it, which is my aim, about a third of this, it still comes in with a lot of fat and carbs. So what I'm gonna try to do is I'm gonna mix a third of this, 2 cans of the spicy Thai chili tuna, and then I'm gonna mix in a little bit of the poppy seed, even though it is calorie dense, but I'm gonna use 2 packs of the yogurt because it complements this flavor very well, and I get more protein in my salad. I'm also making this meal to go. I gotta head to the university and actually teach a boxing class, so this will be a great meal to have in between the boxing classes.
This was a wonderful meal to have on the go throughout the week. Not only was it delicious, but it was very affordable. The whole salad cost $15, and I spread that apart throughout 4 different meals throughout the week. Depending on the protein source, sometimes the tuna, sometimes the chicken strips, or the KFC, it would range from just under $10 to just over $10. And then I routinely just used the yogurt as a salad dressing. This made it way easier to control the calories, around 6,700 calories and over 50 grams of protein.
Okay, let's do a Friday weight check-in here. As of March 14th, walking in on the scale at 208.4 pounds. Now it's heading in the right direction, this is great to see. But that also doesn't mean I get too fired up either, because the weight's gonna go back up. This weekend, I have 2 treat meals planned, one with my parents, one with Angelina's parents. My weight's gonna go back up, undoubtedly. But I trust the process, and I make sure I always look at the average over the 7 days. So it's heading in the right direction, but again, I'm not gonna stay tied to that number. I'm just gonna collect the data and watch where it trends downward.
So as I mentioned on the Friday, we were gonna go out for dinner, so I had to keep it very light throughout the day to have more room for calories at night. So I started off my breakfast very light with just the protein, oats, and an apple. Came in around 444 calories and 52 grams of protein. The second meal of the day, I went back to the salad with some chicken, and this came in a little bit higher at 600 calories and 66 grams of protein, but it was enough to fill me throughout most of the day. And then I had a light afternoon snack to hold me over until we went out for supper, with using some more of the KFC, some fruit, and a Quest bar. And this came in around 470 calories and 50 grams of protein. And that brings me to about 1,500 calories on the day. I take my calorie maintenance at 2,700 calories, I minus it from the 1,500, and that leaves me with 1,200 calories for freedom calories, so I can enjoy the treat meal at night. So I gotta tell you about this amazing restaurant we went in Winnipeg called Petite Socco. It's a beautiful little restaurant that only holds up to 10 people. They always have a menu of the month that they preset with a 4-course meal. They have some delicious cocktails, as me and my dad shared a nice old-fashioned. The first entree was essentially cheesy bread. They had another French way of describing it, but it was bread filled with cheese, and it was quite delicious. The second entree was my favorite because the scallops and the sauce they had on it was delicious, licking the plate clean. Then some perfectly cooked lamb with some beans and sourdough bread, and I absolutely love the chocolate mousse to finish off. One of my favorite parts about coming to this restaurant is that they're smaller serving sizes and they're quite delicious, but when you leave you feel just full enough like you didn't need to stuff yourself, and so it makes it for a perfect treat meal out. Saturday morning we had to do our morning rituals of coffee and cookies. I had it with a protein shake. And we were excited to have our friend Robin over, as she actually gave us the recipe for the cookies, and here's what she thought.
No, that's totally it.
That's good.
For sure.
It's great to hear. It sounds like I'm doing something right. Later on, I was looking for a light meal on the go, and another great idea on the go is Booster Juice. Now, when you go to Booster Juice, I'm not a big fan of a lot of their snack options, as some of these energy balls just have a lot of carbs and fats in them. And I don't mind the taste of some of their wraps and quesadillas, but all of them, again, are going to be low protein and pretty expensive given they don't have a lot of protein in them. So I recommend that you look at any of the smoothies that will come with whey protein already and then get a booster of whey protein added. And I went with the bananas whey because it also came with some strawberries. This came under 500 calories and over 50 grams of protein, so it's a very healthy meal, but on total it costs at $12.36. And I find with a booster shake, I don't stay full as long. So it's not my favorite, but it is a healthy meal option on the go. Now, I ran out of the salad before, so I had to pick up a new salad to make on the go, and it turned out to be a great time because meat was on sale. And this was a very affordable salad. It was only costed $9.83, and it came in around 460 calories and 58 grams of protein, so now I had a lot of calories to spare to enjoy the meal at night. Later on, I went to Angelina's parents' place to celebrate her mom's birthday, and luckily I had a lot of room for calories because they had a lot of food. We had fortune cookies. I had a whole plate of everything that I wanted to try, which included some pancette, some bopis, which is actually beef lung, some pork ribs, and I even had some deep fried chicken. But once again, I tried to take a little bit of the skin off, and I topped off with some ube cheesecake. What a delicious meal all around. And I'm not gonna lie, I was probably over my calories. Okay, weight check-in at the end of the week here. Let's fully assess this. I had 2 big meals this weekend, and sure enough, as of Sunday morning, March 17th, I was 210 pounds. You'll notice my weight was even down Saturday morning despite the Friday night meal, but certainly it's up a lot more after the Saturday night meal, as it was a fair bit more food. And I'll certainly agree that the second meal was probably a bit too big. But I'm not gonna panic. I go back to the plan. I stick to my routine because that's what's already got me a lot of good success. And remember, the trend is what matters most. It's not just 1 or 2 numbers, it's the average of 7 days. My initial average was 214 pounds. Now my average adds up to 209.8 pounds. So I'm still losing a pound per week despite that weight coming back up. That is excellent fat loss progress, especially given that I had 2 out of the 7 days that were treat meal days. This is sustainable fat loss that most people should strive for. So even though I ate a bit too much the night before, I don't punish myself. I go back to the latte and imperial cookie ritual with Angelina because these are very important times with me and Angelina that we share, and these cookies are damn delicious, and I keep it within my calories. Later that day after the workout, we went to Pita Pit. It's a very well-known restaurant across Canada, very similar to Subway, but you fill up a pita with whatever you want in it. Now, they have some nutritional details on their website. I went with the sweet heat, and they always do calorie ranges. They don't even tell you the protein, and they don't include the pita, but that's because you have the option of a rice bowl or making it into a salad. What makes this a healthy option is that you can choose your own vegetables, so I can get a lot more spinach, and I can get more bell peppers that'll have more vitamins and minerals. I do double my protein in this, and I imagine it's somewhere around 45 grams of protein. Now, overall, this meal is actually quite expensive for on the go. It cost me $20, but if you consider all the nutrients I can get from it and that I can get around 45 grams of protein, it's a pretty healthy meal option on the go, and it tastes pretty good. Later that day, I wanted to try something different at Tim Hortons. I wanted to try the chili, but the problem with the chili is it comes in at a much lower protein percentage. It has some protein, but a lot of carbs and fats. But if I then put the turkey strips that I bought earlier that day, it's going to protein anchor it, and it's going to get me to over my 50 grams of protein and just around 500 calories, which is my target. Now, this makes it pretty affordable too, because then it's going to be around $12 for the whole meal. And this is why I recommend that you have some lean sources of protein to have on hand so you can protein anchor any meal, so you can enjoy something that tastes good but still hit your protein goal.
It's good chili.
Now, after the whole week, it's important to look at the weekly cost of everything, as I was trying to look for the best deals I could, but it was still very expensive. The weekly total added up to $273.98. The daily average was $39.13, and the cost per meal average was $9.78. Now I'm going to give you an assessment on all the different meals that I ate this week, and I'm going to tell you my least favorite to my most favorite meals so that you can see it based on cost, nutritional value, and whether or not it actually left me feeling full enough to help me with my fat loss goals. This way you know what are good choices when you're on the go. So coming in last place is going to be the KFC. This is of course deep fried chicken, so you can't imagine this is the most healthy option for you out there. And it wasn't really cost effective, as it costed $3.35 per piece of chicken, and I really don't know if it digested well. So I'll rate this a D+. Then coming in at number 8 is going to be Pita Pit. Now Pita Pit is a good healthy meal option, but for the expense, I didn't really like it, because if I'm going to spend $20, I want to be a lot more full from this. So I'm going to rate this a C+ overall. Coming in at the 7th place is going to be the Tim's Chili. Now it does come with some pretty good nutrients, and it is reasonably cost, but that's only if I add in my own protein source, and it'll be around $12. So if you had just the Tim's Chili, how could you get enough protein? So I'm still not rating it super high, and I'm going to give it a C+ overall. Coming in at number 6 will be Booster Juice. Now this is only moderately expensive, around $12.36, and it does come with good protein and nutrients. However, when you drink a shake, you're not going to feel as full, and I personally get hungry a lot quicker, so I'm going to rate this a B-. Coming in at number 5 will be the Tim Hortons breakfast. I really like to have these egg options, as it does come with good nutrients and it's a good breakfast on the go. I did decide to team it up with a protein shake to make it more cost effective at around $12, but even if you did buy the extra eggs and it would come in at $14, this is a good healthy meal on the go, although it has a higher expense. So I'm going to rate this overall a B. Then coming in at number 4 has to be the Subway salad. I was initially quite critical because it is moderately expensive, around $15, but you can double or triple your protein, and I can add way more vegetables to it if I want, and I actually get good satiety. I'm pretty full after, and I enjoy it. So overall, I'm going to rate it a B. Coming in at number 3 has to be the Superstore salad. This is a great meal option on the go, and it was quite affordable, as it ranged from around $9.83 to $10.49, which is very affordable for a quick meal, and very nutrient dense because I was choosing my dark leafy greens. This is something I highly suggest you do on the go. Grab a pre-made salad, pre-cooked chicken, and you have a wonderfully balanced meal on the go very affordably. I'm going to rate this an A-. Coming in at number 2 has to be the protein bowls I make in the morning and in the evening. These are very quick to make and very cost effective, as they can range as cheap as $3.50 and might get up to $5.80, and they are very packed with protein and nutrients. Now, because they're not whole food, they tend to not leave you feeling as full, but they're going to come with a lot of vitamins and minerals, and they taste quite delicious. I'm going to rate these an A- overall. And my number 1 meal of the week has to be the A&W patties. 4 patties for $6.73 is so cheap. Plus I hit my protein goal, my calorie goal. I get B vitamins from it. It leaves me feeling full, and it's delicious. So for me, it's an A overall. That is it for week number 2 of the Fat Loss on the Go challenge. You're gonna want to keep watching though, right? Because I just came from possibly gaining some more excess weight. Am I able to lose it by Monday? Plus, I'm gonna have way more ideas, different restaurants that I'm gonna be eating at, new ideas from the grocery store that you can use yourself on the go. Angelina is gonna be doing a skin fold assessment on me so we can figure out where my body fat percentage is and how much I progressed. But you're gonna need to keep following if you wanna find all that information out. So make sure you hit that subscribe button below. And please leave a comment. What'd you think of some of the places I ate, and where would you like to see me eat to see if you can have some better healthy meal options on the go. Thanks for checking out this video, and remember to keep following for more fat loss on the go ideas.